Blinken faced scrutiny at the Congressional hearing.
Texas set out to build 50% of border wall.
California churches called for congregants to vote Larry Elder in Sunday service.
Biden to visit Long Beach Monday night to show support to Newsom.
In Southern California, Republican voters void grief after their voting experience.
And the feature story of today, Professor Victor Davis Hanson, who is the best-selling author, discussed with me about his upcoming new book, The Dying Citizen.
Welcome to Wei and Cathy show. I'm your host, Wei Fang.
And I'm Cathy.
Yes, today we have some new equipment and then we made some mistake, huh? Anyway, but it's good to have you with us, and it's great to have to see you again on Monday. So first, let's briefly talk about the feature story. Then, Cathy, what would that be about?
Yeah, well, Professor Victor Davis Hanson, the Hoover Institution senior fellow, he has a new book coming up. Mm-hmm. It's called The Dying Citizen. So you may wonder, what is citizen? Why citizen is important and what is dying citizen? So he is going to discuss about what this book is about and why the concept of citizenship is important.
All right. Again, our program will be two-part. The first part will be here at the YouTube. The second part, let's move on to the Safe Chat. Now, let's move into the news. First, Secretary of the State, Blinken, was asked to appear at the Congressional hearing today to explain what happened in Afghanistan. Needless to say, this is widely watched by the Americans.
Right.
And he was actually grilled by the House Foreign Affairs Committee and called by 2 Republican congressmen to resign. And then indeed, what happened during the hearing is very simple, because it is quick news. For the questions that people are concerned, pretty much is question asked, question not answered. For example, among the Republican congressmen, and one question is like this: can you comment on President Biden's last call with the Afghanistan president after reports alleged that the president pressured the Afghanistan counterpart to lie about the deteriorating security situation in Afghanistan over the summer? Okay, did Biden say that? What's your comment? The answer is, I cannot comment on that. All right, another pretty crucial question everybody is concerned about is whether the leaked transcript of that call with the Afghanistan president was true. Biden refused to answer. Blinken again refused to answer. Mm-hmm. He said it's a purposely leaked script. I cannot talk about that.
Right. So basically, during the hearing, Democrats tried to blame the previous administration, which is the Trump administration, for the catastrophic withdrawal, while the Republicans blame Biden and the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, for their handling of the situation. Let's take a look how Blinken defends the handling of the situation.
When President Biden took office in January, he inherited an agreement that his predecessor had reached with the Taliban to remove all remaining forces from Afghanistan by May 1st of this year. As part of that agreement, the previous administration pressed the Afghan government to release 5,000 Taliban prisoners, including some top war commanders. Meanwhile, it reduced our own force presence to 2,500 troops. In return, the Taliban agreed to stop attacking U.S. and partner forces and to refrain from threatening Afghanistan's major cities. But the Taliban continued a relentless march on remote outposts, on checkpoints, on villages and districts, as well as the major roads connecting them. By January 2021, the Taliban was in the strongest military position it had been in since 9/11, and we have the smallest number of troops on the ground since 2001. As a result, upon taking office, President Biden immediately faced the choice between ending the war or escalating it. Had he not followed through on his predecessor's commitment, attacks on our forces and those of our allies would have resumed, and the Taliban's nationwide assaults on Afghanistan's major cities would have commenced. That would have required sending substantially more U.S. forces into Afghanistan to defend themselves and prevent a Taliban takeover, taking casualties, and with at best the prospect of restoring a stalemate and remaining stuck in Afghanistan under fire indefinitely.
And, the Congress members on the committee just one after another ask questions. So one of them is a Pennsylvania Congressman, Dan Muser. Let's hear what he talked about.
You are a long-standing, experienced American diplomat. Your service is to be commended to our country. Past hearings, you have been fair and informative. I, however, must state that I'm very disappointed in your written testimony, your opening comments and answers today, which really seemed to me, sir, as a series of rationalizations. You are, in fact, blaming everyone but yourselves and the Taliban, which is interesting for this disaster, and yet you seem to continue to be victimized by wishful thinking. Blaming the Trump administration, frankly, is equivalent to me planning a fishing trip months in advance. The day comes to leave, a hurricane comes in, you go anyway, and blame me for things going badly. The fact is, these epic mistakes and the ignoring of intel has left a country, okay, these are the facts, this is the reality of today, under a brutal terrorist regime, and the world is a more dangerous place.
Okay. And then the Blinken said that at the end of the last week, roughly, this is a number that the people are very concerned about, okay, how many people are still remain in Afghanistan? He said roughly 100 American citizens remain stranded there. But he said it's a moving picture. He said it's something that we cannot and don't know because Americans are not required to register when they go to a foreign country or if they reside there, all right? Additionally, in terms of green card holders, and Blinken said several thousands of people remain in Afghanistan. All right, so that's the short clips of what happened in today's congressional hearing.
Yeah, and one thing interesting actually is that he was grilled on, what he's gonna do, what the administration is gonna do if the Taiwan, for the Taiwan situation and the Ukraine situation.
Okay.
And what he said is that they will, quote unquote, we will, stick to our agreement to both countries. And notice he also said that Taiwan's a country in his answer.
Well, that can be a cue for the CCP to jump out of the seat and go crazy.
Right.
But I guess they won't do that because this is a secret of the state. Anyway, let's move on to the next news. And since Biden administration stopped the border wall building, and Texas is coming in and pick up the step. And the Texas legislature recently passed $1.8 billion in additional funding for the purpose of building border wall between Texas and Mexico. And also Texas raised more than $54 million in private donation to build the new border boundaries in the Lone Star State.
And so right now, the Texas-Mexico border currently has only 150 miles of physical barrier in place along the 1,250 miles of the border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just mind you that the entire border line is 1,900 miles. So Texas shared 12 and 50. So almost like 2/3 of the entire border line between the U.S. and Mexico. And the Texas officials now identified more than 700 miles of borderfront land where it can build the wall. So pretty much Texas coming in is doing the fast job.
Right.
How do you think? 1.8 billion, that's quite some money for a state, right? All right, but for the people who care about the border security, I guess they are happy. At least the states come in and pick up some important work. All right, so tomorrow would be the voting day for the California governor recall. It's very tense. There's a lot of rallies around in the Northern California, Southern California, and so on and so forth. And so today at 7 o'clock, at this very moment, supposedly, President Biden will appear in the Long Island along with the governor.
Long Beach.
Long Beach, I'm sorry. Yes. not New York. He's coming to California, along with Governor Gavin Newsom, to have this rally over there, and he will stay overnight and then leave tomorrow at 10 o'clock, something like that. So we don't know what will happen because this is rather late. But anyway, in the meantime, Harris was here the last week, and then last Wednesday, okay, and campaigned with Newsom. So what is the Republican contender? Okay, what's their response? Larry Elder. This is what he said.
Yeah, he's the Larry Elder is the front runner among the 46 candidates, and his response is if Gavin Newsom thinks that flying in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris not exactly the most admired government officials at the present time. So that's a quote, will make him look better. That is all you need to know about how obvious and detached Newsom is from a large majority of Californians.
All right, in the meantime, yesterday, as you remember, it's a Sunday. We got this Sunday church service, okay? Pastors in California are encouraging their congregants to vote in Tuesday's recall elections of Gavin Newsom in yesterday's Sunday service. All right, and they clearly urged the congregants to vote for Larry Elder because he's a Christian conservative whose faith the leader say share their values.
So one of the pastors from San Jose, where we are, Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. Okay, that's also, there's a Calvary Chapel in San Jose as well. Okay. But this one's in the Southern California, Chino Hills. The pastor, Jack Hibbs, reminded his congregations of 15,000 to turn in their votes for collection and emphasize how crucial each and every individual's vote was. And he said, we want the Christian community to be very smart on what the issues are and who most represent their biblical worldview.
Yeah, from the eyes of church people, the difference between Larry Elder and Gavin Newsom cannot be starker, as we all remember. So church people is coming out and urging their people to vote. All right, so talking about voting, we need to talk about something I think is very concerning to people.
Yeah, but before then, let's also continue to talk about a little bit about from yesterday, because this moment is really the last push,
right,
for people who are for the recall and against recall. So actually, in Hollywood, we all, last time we shared how those Hollywood stars just bash the recall and the Larry Elder. However, just yesterday, Sunday, two Hollywood stars endorsed Larry Elder publicly and formally. One of them is actually an actress and the Me Too activist, Rose McGowan. And she spoke on a Yes to Recall event and officially endorsed Larry Elder for California governor. So during her speech, she actually alleged that Gavin Newsom, the current governor of California's wife, tried to bribe her into staying silent about convicted rapist Harvey Weinstein, the Hollywood movie producer.
Wow.
Yeah, so he detailed how governor's wife, she detailed how the governor's wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, called her up in 2017 on behalf of the former producer Weinstein's attorney to ask her, quote, what it would take to make you happy enough to keep quiet about Weinstein.
Really?
Yeah, and the phone call alleged took place 6 months prior to the New York Times launching its bombshell report against Weinstein. Right. So McGowan concluded her speech by officially endorsing Larry Elder, arguing that she will passionately fight for the betterment of California while shaking the state's political establishment at its very core. And she said, I really appreciate anybody watching or reading this to think differently. That's her quote. And to be brave. Do something that's weird, like maybe voting Republican, even though it will feel strange. Yeah, I guess, she's probably a Democrat. And on the other hand, another Hollywood star, actor, who is also a Trump supporter, Jon Voight, endorsed Larry Elder yesterday. And he posted a video.
Yeah.
Right, he posted a video and urged fellow Americans, quote, end quote, don't allow our state to crumble any longer. Let us bring the California country to her best yet. Elder will help us save her.
And Vogt is, he's the father of Giuliani.
Not Giuliani.
Angelina Jones.
Yeah.
Angelina Jones. Okay. Her last name is no longer Vogt, but that's her father. All right. Okay. Let's talk about a story of happened yesterday. Okay. 10:30 in the morning. Okay. Yesterday at in a small city.
I believe it's on Saturday.
On Saturday. Oh yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry. On Saturday.
Right.
In the Woodland Hills, which is Southern California city. Okay. There's El Camino Charter High School. There's a voting place there. And then an 88-year-old lady, Estelle Bender, went over there and cast her vote. Okay, the computer showed her that you have voted. And she said, what? I didn't vote it. And then she and several friends of hers have the same experience. And over there, she also saw some other people, they asked other people, and the same experience. So she asked them then, are you Republican? They said, yeah. And she said, I'm a Republican too.
Yeah, so actually she told the reporter in KTLA, saying that when she said, she had this problem, and actually the poll worker who helped her, who assisted her, saying that this has been happening all morning. That's her own words. And then she said the man next to me was arguing the same thing. So she ended up with only able to vote on a provisional ballot.
Yeah, and she was really upset.
Right. A provisional ballot, they have to verify her status, and then...
After how many days, and
right.
so on and so forth.
And then eventually she said, I still like to know how I voted, because she was told she already voted. And how did I vote it? So that's, it's really outrageous thing.
Yeah, we don't have the KTLA's video footage. Okay, when I was watching that, basically you see just one machine after machine. The machine just looked like a computer, okay? Very sophisticated machine. I was talking to myself, when I cast a vote into that machine, what is that machine? It's really just a paper ballot, right? You just somebody mark it and you just count it. It's a super low-tech thing. Should be very easy to be executed and be, operated in a reliable way and, accurate way. So somehow this high-tech thing is making everything complicated, including this thing.
Right. And so what did the Los Angeles County Register Recorder's Office said? They actually admitted that there's a problem with the equipment. So they issued a statement saying that after troubleshooting the issue, the equipment at the locations was replaced and the voting continued. And the statement also said the provisional ballots are a, quote, fail-safe option for this kind of glitches, end quote, to ensure that everybody's vote will be counted.
Yeah. So when you catch something so sensitive and so relevant and so crucial, what do you see? Responses, let's move on. All right. And so I do want to do a online survey, if you don't mind. We're running some risk here, I guess. If you are two questions, okay. If you are in California, can you just type there saying I am, so that we know that how many of you are there. The second question is this, okay. And are you concerned with this incident at this Wood Hill? What's this place? Anyway, this Southern California small city.
Yeah, it's in San Fernando County.
Right. Are you
Valley.
concerned? Are you concerned? Can you tell us that whether you are concerned? You can say yes or you can say no. And I just want to get a little tally here so that we know. Can you just take a few seconds to do that? and voting, the reliability in our ballot, in our counting the vote. That's the very, very basic cornerstone of any democracy. So now it has become a concern in the country, in the most powerful and most high tech and the most advanced country in this world, and it's just very weird, guys. I'm from China, okay. I see poor country, I see good country. And I just cannot believe that we're wrestling with such an issue. In Taiwan, people just vote with the paper ballot. It's expensive, it's difficult. You hold the vote every 2 years, not every Tuesday. And this country, of course, can afford that. And guys, so if you're in California, can you type there? I just want to know that how many people of you are from California, and so that we know that tomorrow the California needs you. This is the first thing. The second thing, about this story of Benter, right? This Estelle Benter. Does that concern you, or you think it's okay? Can you just type there? Thank you very much. All right, now let's move on to the our
Safe chat.
Safe chat, yes. Now we're going to move on to the feature story. Victor Hanson, very respected scholar and classicist and political commentator and historian, and Cathy interviewed him and talking about his new book, The Dying Citizen. What does that mean, the dying citizen? Should we care? All right, let's move on to the Safe chat, please. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Please, our backend, please, our staff, please post the link so that the people can move over there. And just hang on a second. I don't want to lose you. I cannot lose you. And please post. Did the post go there? Yes. Okay. Now you can click and we can go over there. Okay. Thank you guys on YouTube.
And let's see some. First, I think see some of the comments.